Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright friends, so I know what everyone's thinking, I know what everyone is paying attention to. Right now, all eyes are on Arizona. Fingers crossed that Kari Lake is going to take this one, and hopefully carry Blake Masters with her. And like usual, it's very hard to tell what ballots are missing or what kind of ballots are missing from the total reporting. In general, it feels like we're operating kind of blind. It's hard to tell what's left from the pool. It's very frustrating because what type of ballots they are when they were cast is going to tell us how they're going to break. Well, we have some more information coming out of Arizona, which is raising the confidence level big time. What Kari Lake and other data and polling analysts are suggesting is that around 400,000 ballots remain in the Arizona election, and a large majority of those ballots are supposedly election day ballots, mail-in ballots that were dropped off on election day. And what the story is here, I'm not going to say definitively. It's possible that it's all just cope and really these are all mail-in ballots that are going to split for the Democrat 90% like we saw in 2020. But what people are saying is that these ballots are supposedly election day mail-in ballots that were dropped off at polling locations, which are expected to break for Kari Lake and Blake Masters significantly. And keep in mind, Kari Lake only needs the remaining ballots to break for her by a little bit for her to take this race. So it's looking like some positive news. Of course, we'll take it all with a grain of salt. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so earlier this morning on the day that I'm recording this video, Kari Lake showed up on Steven Crowder's show, and take a look at what she had to say.
The truth of the matter is, and I just got these numbers, there are 384,000, that's a lot of votes, 384,000 votes that are mail-in ballots. So these people received them a month ago, but they didn't trust probably most of them dropping them off at a drop box or in the U.S. Postal Service. So they filled them out. They went into the voting center on election day and handed them in. They felt that was the safest way to ensure that their ballot truly got to where it needed to go.
Right. Well, that's important.
And those ones haven't been counted. Those are most likely going to go 2-to-1, maybe even 3-to-1 or greater in my direction, in the Republicans' direction.
So Kari Lake is suggesting that there's 384,000 ballots remaining that are election day mail-in ballots that were actually brought to the polls, and that these ballots are going to break for her like some of the other election day drops that we've seen at anywhere from 60 to 70%. It's certainly possible, I'm not denying it. I'm sure Kari Lake has some insider information that we are not privy to, and if this is the case, then she stands a good chance of winning. Data Orbital breaks it down a little bit different than Kari Lake. Maricopa County ballots remaining update, around 400,000 total ballots remaining. 275,000 were dropped off on election day. 125,000 were mailed back from Saturday to Tuesday. Election day drop-off batch is likely to strongly favor Republicans, and the ballots that were mailed back will lean Republican. And so I don't think we're going to see the election day ballot break for the entire 400,000. We're not going to see 75% of votes coming in for Kari Lake like we did a couple days ago in some of the early to mid ballot drops, but it's likely that 275,000 break significantly, and then those 125,000 left break by a smaller portion. And so as we know, based on the data so far, Kari Lake only trails by 13,000 votes to Katie Hobbs, meaning Kari Lake only has to win a very small percentage of these remaining 340,000 votes in order to take the lead here. I'd say it's likely that Kari Lake takes that victory, but again, it's extremely hard to tell, given the general lack of transparency and of course the lack of trust in the system, especially in Arizona. We're now learning that we're not going to see the final results until early next week, which is absolutely unacceptable. Take a look at this.
Again, when do you anticipate the votes will be counted in total, those 400,000 plus votes?
Well, we will be going into next week. There's some onesie-twosies, again, pursuant to Arizona law, but I think that we'll see the lion's share here wrap up by early next week.
Early next week, can you give me a day? Are we talking Monday? Or we
maybe as long.
Who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but it's best to remain positive for now and cross your fingers. Kari Lake's going to take this one home. The question that everybody is asking themselves is, will she be able to carry Blake Masters? And this one is extremely hard to say. What I do know for sure is that the Blake Masters Mark Kelly race is going to be extremely close. Right now it looks like Blake Masters is underperforming. It's not even close. Mark Kelly beat him by 5%. percentage points. But there's almost 400,000 ballots left to be counted, and it really depends on how they break. If they break above 65% for Republicans in total, Blake Masters is going to win. With 76% reporting, Mark Kelly is only ahead 95,000 votes. With the 400,000 remaining, if the lion's share goes to the Republicans, Blake Masters is still in this race. We knew that this race was going to finish within 1 percentage point, and what's really annoying, really frustrating in this race, just like the Senate race in Georgia, is of course the Libertarian candidate taking 2.1% of the vote. Even more frustrating in Arizona because Mark Victor pulled out of the race at the last second and endorsed Blake Masters, yet still remained on the ballot, and Victor pulled 2.1% of the vote, 40,000 votes in total. That vote splitting, of course, going to make it a whole lot more difficult for Blake Masters to pull through on this one. But nonetheless, regardless of that, it's still possible. It looks like Kari Lake, if the data analysis is correct, is on her way to victory, and depending on the vote split, Blake Masters might take this one home. It's going to be close, like they say, too close to call, but I think Republicans are likely to make significant gains here. I keep making the comparison to Arizona in 2020. Bret Baier and Fox News calling the state for Joe Biden. He was ahead 120,000 votes. There's no way Donald Trump could make up that gap. Well, in the end, once everything was tabulated, the gap shrunk to around 20,000 votes, and the end result was 49.36 to 49.06, a 0.3% gap, which is very likely what we're going to see in the Senate race. In the final hour, Mark Kelly is going to gain. The question is, will it be enough? He needs a little bit over 95,000 more votes than Mark Kelly in whatever's left, and that equates to around, I think, 65% of ballots remaining. Actually, I think it might even be less than that. It might be around 62 or 63, which is certainly possible. And now where I'm losing a little bit of confidence, is Nevada. Adam Laxalt had a very healthy lead against Catherine Cortez Masto. Then all of a sudden, a mail-in ballot drop hits, and the race is essentially neck and neck, as you guys can see by the data over here. And if we take a look at the districts that are missing, where the total report is missing, most of the votes that haven't been reported are from Clark County, which is of course the most populous county and the one that leads strongest Democrat. Supposedly there's 50,000 mail-in ballots still missing from the total tally. Here's an update from a Nevada election official.
And you're saying there are 50,000 ballots still to be counted, so can you explain that discrepancy?
There's no discrepancy there. You've communicated it just the way I did. So there are 50,000 ballots that need to be counted because the mail ballot process is an ongoing real-time process.
Those have been counted already.
No, there's 50,000 ballots that still need to be counted because they're in process.
So we're just trying to figure out where they're at. So these 50,000, are those mail-in ballots?
They're all mail-in ballots.
What about the
They may not have been
Dropbox?
delivered through the U.S. Postal Service, but they're all considered mail. Now, they may have been in the Dropbox, or they may have been delivered by the United States Postal Service. But of all the ballots that we received, whether it was the U.S. Postal pickup yesterday or the mail ballot drop-offs that we pulled from all the boxes for Election Day, we currently have approximately 50,000 ballots that still need to be counted.
And what people are expecting here is that these last-minute mail-in ballots from Clark County are expected to favor Catherine Cortez Masto. We don't know that for sure. The last batch certainly did. We don't know whether they're Dropbox ballots, mail-in ballots, Election Day ballots. It seems as though the election official was being purposely vague there. But again, this race is going to be incredibly close. It's hard to tell who's going to win or who those ballots are going to favor. One thing I know for sure is that this whole mass mail-in ballot system is proving again to be a total, utter disaster. And similar to Arizona, we're probably not going to know the results for at least a couple of days. We're just going to have to see what happens. I'm going to refrain from saying anything because, again, I don't want to get myself in trouble here. I know some people get frustrated that I don't say certain things and they write in the comment section, and trust me, I'm reading it. At the end of the day, if I want to exist on this platform, I don't have a choice. They will literally delete my channel if I say certain things. But trust me when I say I understand your frustration. But when speaking on issues related to certain topics, I tend to keep that on my Twitter account. But on YouTube, I am forced to play by the rules. I've had too many scares. My channel on the brink of deletion a couple months ago. But anyways, I'm sure most of you guys get it. At this point, there's no choice but to just sit back, wait and see what happens, and we'll continue to delve into all of the data and all of the updates and everything that's going on during the current process and of course in the aftermath. That's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. And of course, I'll see you on the next one.